This conference will now be recorded.
Starts today's session. So this is the last application which we were discuss. In this application, we have seen how to do CRUD operation using API underscore view. Okay. Yes. So today I'm going to discuss about CRUD operations using API view by using browsable API testing. So far, we have tested the API by using test.py, but I'm going to show you how to do the API browsable API view through. I'll show you. So browsable API means in the browser window only we can able to test the API. We need not to write any test.py, sir. Okay. So let me show you the example how to work with browsable API window. So do you remember that in the first application I used this one. What is that? Look at this. In the first application only I use the views. Now you can see API view. So this I am going to use now. So by using this, we can able to test the API in browser itself. No need to use any tester.py. So this application I am going to show you with all CRUD operations step by step. Code will be same. So there is no change at all. Slightly changes are there. I'll show you how to work with them. So let me open the documentation for saving some time. So this is our next topic. You can see. Yes, this is our topic today. Example with CRUD API view using class-based view with browser API testing. Browser API testing means, so for testing purpose we need not to write test.py directly in the browser itself. It's opening, it's going to be test. It's possible to test. So REST framework provides an API view class which subclass says Django's view class. API view classes are different from regular view classes in the following ways. That means request passed to the handler methods will be REST framework's request instances, not Django's HTTP request instances. So in this API view, we are going to use handler methods. What are the methods? I'll show you now. So first of all, we need to create model. Yes, model creation you know already. No need to repeat same thing again and again daily. I'm creating first a new application so that you will get clarity. Python space manage.py start app rest app 8. This is my new application, and you can include this rest app 8 into settings.py. Here I'm using rest app 8. This is the case. So once rest app 8 is created, so in this rest app 8 what I'm trying to do, models. Let's try to create a model. So model name is what? Manager model. Model fields are name, address, mail, age. After that, simply you can try to make migrations and migrate. And migration model is created and migrated. Go to database here, refresh now. REST app 8 underscore manager. Now for reading few records, just I'm trying to insert two records. Now coming to this, so this is the details. Let's insert this. Now you can see REST app 8 manager table is there, model is there clearly. Now it's coming to the view section. But I'm ignoring admin panel, sir, because I don't want to manage my database into admin panel. So directly I'm ignoring admin panel. So coming to the serializer class is required. What serializer? Manager serializer, model serializer is required. So already we have included serializer in my previous lecture. So I can copy and paste it, or else you can create serializer. Let me create a serializer.py here. Right click on it and Python file serializer.py. Here I'm taking from REST framework import serializers from REST app 8 dot models. What model? Manager class manager serializer. It will be inherited from serializers dot model serializer. We use model serializer, then what is the advantage? No need to use any model name. Sorry, model fields. Only model name and fields we can include, and no need to create and update methods clearly. So I use class meta manager ID name address mail agent. So this serializer.py also ready. So finally we need to go with view section now. Now you can see in this view. So this is already we worked in the first application API view. So this is the main important now. This API view only will make testing the browsable API only based on your methods what we included in the view section in the browsable API window. That options are available for testing your API. So from REST framework.views import API view, and from REST framework.response import response. This is the framework REST framework response, and model is required, serializer is required, and status code is required. Status codes, you know that very well. 201 is created, 200 is okay, 404 is bad request, 400 is unauthorized access, like that. So there are some status codes are there. First let's include on the top of the view whatever it is required. So it's required first from your application REST app 8 dot models. What model? Manager. From your application REST app 8 serializer manager serializer. From REST framework dot views import API view. From REST framework dot response import response. From REST framework import status. So these are all libraries which are required to work with this application. So manager serializer is there, manager model is there, and the API view class is there. Response, REST framework response is there. Status code is there. Now view is common code. You can see this in the view. Look at this. I'm using class. So manager API is my class based view. Your class is inherited from API view class. So we are going to get first request through primary key none, ID equals to PK. So format equals to none means it is optional, it's not compulsory. ID equals to PK means primary key ID. If ID is not none, I need to get only first record. Serializer equals to manager serializer of query set object. I'm passing M. And if you want to get all records, manager dot objects dot all serializer object equals to manager serializer M many equal to true. This code already we have seen in the first examples. Nothing is there here. And post method, same post method code is there. And put method means updation purpose is there. Patch method is there for partial updation is there. So message is there partially updated like this after saving serializer dot is valid. And response code also I'm using here. Now you can see any updation error status code HTTP 400 bad request only. So delete purpose delete only. So this all the code I'm just copying because you know already in my previous lecture I have included many times this type of code. I need not to write step by step. So once you are ready with this all the actions, okay, so we need to remove this. Yes, now we can see manager API view. This manager API view we need to set the URL. So to set the URL, let's go with application level URLs. So urls.py from django.urls import path from step 8 import views. URL patterns equals to path. And what is your view name? You can decide. So manager API is my view name. Dot as view is compulsory because it is a class based view. This URLs we need to inject into project level URLs. So let's go to URL section, and here in previous application I worked with app 7. So let's give this name and make it side. Now current application I'm not giving any name. Let's tab 8.urls. Let's try to run the server. So but note this point. In this current application REST app 8, did I use any test.py? No, not required. Now you can see test.py not required. Why not? Because this API view class is going to prepare browsable API testing. That means in the browser window itself, we can able to test your API. Okay, no need to write any, what we can say, separate code for testing your API clearly. Now let's try to run the server and notice this. Python space manage.py run server. So we have two records in our database table. So two records are there and manager records. Now click on link this and you will be able to see this Django REST framework. This is nothing but browsable API window. So we got two records like this. Status code you can observe HTTP 200 OK. Content type is application/JSON. So now this is the JSON format here. Because of we use all these methods in the view section. No, what methods? Get method, post method, put method, patch method, delete method. We are able to see delete button. Below you can see post button, and below you can see put patch method. All things are there. Why? Because we have used all the functions in a views.py. So whatever we use functions in the views.py, that function related buttons will create in browsable API window automatically. Okay. So if you want to delete, yes, deleting, updating purpose, what is required, sir? ID is required. But sir, first I want to insert one record. So let me copy this and paste into here for inserting that. So I'm inserting the record. For inserting ID is not required because ID automatically will generate. So I'm trying to insert a new record, like the person name is Hari at gmail.com. Now I can go for 30. So I click on post. The record is inserted. You can see data inserted. Do you want to check whether it is inserted or not? So again, you can able to what we can say, click on manager API. So automatically it will be read third record also because we have clearly inserted the record into database model. So this is for inserting. And if you want to do changes any record like /2, I'm taking in the URL section. Sorry. Uh, so this is about all this. So ID number 1 and all. 3 records are there. But if you want to delete any record or update any record, we can also delete. So how to delete this, I'll tell you. So now coming to the URL sections. Now you can see to delete or to get only one particular record, then this URL need to be set, sir. So we forgot to set this URL. So let's try to set this URL. That's what we are unable to see the particular record. So I'm using manager is the name, and next what I'm trying to take for deleting purpose, updating purpose, manager slash in PK. PK is required, no sir. Many times I have used it in this code use dot manager API dot ASP. Now this time you can see rerun this application. So run the server. In the URL I'm changing. If it manager means you will get all records. Look at this slash manager. So you can see you'll get all records, 3 records. But only if I want to modify one particular record, second record I'm hitting, only second record reading. Do you want to delete second record, you can hit this. Look at this second record. Or else do you want to modify second record details, you can modify here. I want to modify the second record details. Let's copy this dictionary and post it here. Now you can see ID number 2 is mandatory. Okay, so we are trying to do second record modification. So instead of Mohan, I'm trying to take Kiran. Instead of address HYD, SR Nagar, and Kiran at gmail.com, age, let it be same. So you can hit this put or patch methods are not a problem. So when we use put method, that all fields will go to server. When we use patch method, whatever fields you have modified, that will go to server. So anyways, it will work. Now you can see data is updated. Updated data or not, how do you check? Manager API, and second record got updated here, Kiran record. So initially it was Mohan and now it is Kiran. So let's refresh it here. This is updation date. And do you want to delete any one of the record? So which record do you want to delete? That record you can hit enter it. So it will allow you to delete also, sir. When I click on delete, so it will ask you, are you sure, do you want to delete this manager API? Say yes means delete. So record is deleted, it's coming. If you want to see whether it is record is deleted, you can click this manager API. So after deleting first record, second and third record only available here. So 2 and 3 records are available, sir, after deleting first record. So this is about CRUD operations by using API view class. So browsable API testing. So we need not to write any test.py file here. Directly we can able to test our API by using this browsable API window. But do you want to update partial update? Yes, I want to do partial update, sir. ID number 3. These details I want to update partially, not completely. So partial update purpose, what we use, only address I want to change. So address Hyderabad to Amirpet I'm changing. So in this context, look at this ID number 3. Partial update is better, sir. Why? Because whatever the field you are changing, that field only will be go to server. Even you can also use put method, not a problem. But you have updated only one field, that is address field. Because of one field you have updated, remaining things also will be go to database. That is the problem actually. So you can patch it. So you'll be able to see the message partially updated. Partially updated means what? Only address is changed now. Remaining details as it is available. And now you can refresh it that Kiran record, Hari record address is only changed Amirpet. So this is about CRUD operations we can perform step by step. Model is common, serializer is common, URLs common. Okay, so project level URLs, everything common, and only the changes are viewed. So even we have reduced the code here, sir. So manager API view code without any JSON render, JSON parser, a bytes IO stream object, there is no. Directly we are using this one only. So this is about browsable API testing. It is very easy. That's what we are not going to use any what we can say other third-party tools in our API testing. Generally, .NET and Java programmers they'll use to test their API Postman services or else Swagger tool we use. But in Django API testing, not required to use any Swagger tool or Postman services. So that is what actually because Django REST framework will provide by default API view window. In this window only we can able to test the API here. Okay, so this is about Django REST framework API testing browsable API. Now coming to this, so far whatever we discussed, we have written lot of code in every view, no? So like this, at least 5 to 10 lines of code. I said in the initial stage of working with the REST API. So for every operation, I'm writing here 10 to 15 lines of code. But finally, I will bring this code into 4 lines or 2 lines, I said. Now it's time to discuss the built-in classes. So if we use these built-in classes, your code will be a very much shorter. Means we will bring all the lines into 4 lines or 2 lines in the next application clearly. So now the next application is what you know, mixin classes. What are the mixin classes? How to work with this? If we use mixin classes, it's easy to manage that. So that is called what's a generic API view and mixin classes. So what is generic API view and mixins? So even you can see this, these classes are there in official website of Django REST framework. I strongly recommend you just once visit official website. So I can say that generic API mixins in Django REST framework. You can type in Google. So you'll be able to directly go to generic views. I said already Django REST framework official website is django-rest-framework.org. So generic views are there. Now I'm talking about these model mixins. So mixin classes are there. List model mixin, can create model mixin, retrieve model mixin, update model mixin, destroy model mixin. These mixin classes are available. So if we use these mixin classes, then our code is very simplifies. Now you can see generic views. Django's generic views were developed as a shortcut for common usage pattern. They take certain common idioms and patterns found in view development and abstract them also that you can quickly write common view of data without having repeat yourself like this. Okay, so but model these all mixing classes cannot work with alone. Means compulsory if you want to work with mixin classes, your mixin classes should be associated with the generic API view only. So both combinedly we can able to work, and only mixin classes alone we cannot able to work. So today just I'm giving basic idea, and tomorrow I'll discuss this application, and tomorrow onwards I'll take more time session, because last few days onwards I'm taking very less time because of my time constraint. So tomorrow will be discussed from 6:30 to 7:30, so it will be easy to finish within the time. Okay, so what I'm trying to discuss now, generic API views are set of commonly used patterns. Generic API views are set of commonly used patterns. The purpose of generic API views is quickly to build API views. The purpose of generic API view is to quickly build API views that map closely to our database models without repeating the code. So generic API view is more loaded version of API view. So just now we finished the application. In that application I used what? API view. But I'm saying generic API view is the more loaded version of API view. It's more loaded version. So what is mixin here? A mixin is a class which contains a combination of methods from other class. What is mixin? Mixin is a class which contains the combination of methods from other class. Mixin provides bits of common behavior. They cannot be used standalone, means only mixin classes we cannot use. Your class should be inherited from generic API view and also mixin classes. So only mixins we cannot work. Only generic API view class we cannot work. Both combinedly you can work. That I am saying. Mixins provide bits of common behavior. They cannot be used as a standalone. That means we cannot use mixins without generic API view. So compulsory generic API view is required, and along with generic API view we have to use mixin classes. Mixins must be paired with generic API view to make a functional view. So pair is compulsory required. There are types of mixins. Just now I have shown official website, Django REST framework website also. Create model mixin means create a model instance. List model mixin means list a query set. If you want to create a new record, we can use create model mixin. That means create a model instance it is. List model mixin means what? So list a query set here. If you want to bring all the records from database, we can use list model mixin. Retrieve model mixin means we can retrieve a model instance, only one record. Update model mixin means update a model instance. Destroy model mixin means delete a model instance. So all the CRUD operations we are performing by using what? Built-in view classes. Built-in means this is completely built-in only. Generic API view and mixins. So now onwards, you can see this, the code will be drastically reduced. Yes, what we have seen in the previous lectures, like every operation, like inserting, updating, deleting, minimum 10 to 15 lines of code we have written. But now in this topic, especially while working with generic API view and the mixin classes, code will be reduced 4 lines. You can see this today, and I'll show you this example in tomorrow clearly, but code I want to show you. Look at this. This is my class customer list. It's inherited from where? Generic API view comma list model mixin. Two things are required, query set and serializer class. And get method is required, list method is required. 1 2 3 4 4 lines we have finished to get the records from database. And same create model mixin also 4 lines, post method. These 2 lines are common in every view. You can also make more simplification, because common functionality we can make in one class based view, so that it will become more convenient. So common functionality means whichever we are writing We are reading the data purpose, ID is required, updating the data purpose, ID is required, deleting the data purpose, ID is required. For all these three operations, we can keep in one class. So that is make more simple. And list out the record purpose, no need to ID. So that things will be creating the record also, no need to ID. So that things we can keep in one class based view. So finally, we can reduce lot of code in this applications. So even after mixin and generic API view class, one more concept will be introduced. That is concrete model mixins are there. Concrete classes. Now we are saying that generic API view class, but concrete view classes also will make more simplify the code. Concrete view classes. How to work with them, concrete view classes, we'll see now. Okay. Yes. So that we'll discuss in tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll try to take the session 6:30 to 7:30 so that within that time we can able to finish this REST framework. Mostly, as I said, that minimum 7 to 8 sessions are required to complete this REST framework again. After that, without delay, we have to start with Flask.